نرحب بجميع الحضور في هذه الجلسة التي نستعرض فيها النتائج المالية لشركة تاجير للتمويل للنصف الأول من عام 2022. Salam to all and welcome to everyone for this investor presentations for the first half of 2022, where we'll take you through the results of the first half and the first things we are here presenting is that disclaimer, which is, I think all of you are aware of it, and it was there and been presented by others. And I'll take you through the content, which contain 5 items, the main 5 items which we'll talk today afternoon about them. It is the company overview and the Oman economy and the finance and leasing sectors. Also, and we'll talk about the business overview and the financial performance. The first things on the company overview, Taageer Finance in the first 6 months as a company, we did very well also, and we'll take you to the area which is the main achievement which been done in the recent. We successfully last year and we successfully achieved the bond issues of 13.2 million, where we asked the market for 10 million and the achievement was 133%. The main key highlights for us in Taageer, we have a strong database of about 72,000 individual customers. We have strong in-house process automations also, and our corporate and SME database contain more than 12,000 companies. We'll take you through the macroeconomic overview of the country. As the Omani economy, it's an oil-driven economy. The Sultanate did very well in the past 6 months also. It shows a surplus of 784 million, which recorded in the first half of 2022. And we can say this is the first half-yearly physical surplus in almost in a decade. And the main things also, which is reflecting in the economy, which is our rating also from the main companies like S&P and Fitch and Moody's, where the outlook for Oman had been upgraded to stable by all leading rating agencies. We'll take you right now with the third element, which is the finance and leasing sectors. If we go through this slides, we will show you also how the portfolio growing in the industry and what is the total borrowing also in the industry and the equity for the industry. The portfolio, its degrowth since 2018 till now, it's by December 21, it's reached to a level of less than 1 billion, and again in June it's crossing slightly 1 billion, which was 1.1 billion by December 2018. The total borrowing for the sectors, it was in December 790 million, and today it's standing at 664 million. And equity also, it's 308 million. Here, if we talk also overall about how we are in the sector we are working, if our total equity for the sector is standing at 308 million, where the gearing ratio, the gearing can go up to 5 times, we will see that the sector still, there's a lot of things can be done and a lot of room for the sector also to grow. But that all will be linked again how the things will move in on the business, on the commercials, what the government going also to spend in the country, and how the commercials after the pandemics will come back, or the business, let's say, they will come back, inshallah. On the asset quality, sides here also we can talk. I mean, CBO also, what they stated, they have after CBO initiated deferment, the customers have started paying, and the portfolio quality is expected to show signs of improvements recently. The industry is still operating a very low leverage. If we go again, when we say we have the total borrowing at 664, where the industry can borrow up to 1.5 billion, the total borrowing, it's just at 2.15 for the sector. Again, here the financials, it depends also on the banking system, what they look, what is their view on the financials in finance companies. And if I think things will go, inshallah, we have seen positive signals from the major banks in Oman, which they have started again to support the sectors by providing more funding. Definitely the regulatory supports are there, and central bank also, they did a lot in the past, and to give us more rooms or pipelines, let's say, give us more leverage to handle and to structures and to take care of those clients who are in difficulties in the past. We'll take you through the business overview. In Taageer Finance, we are writing business in two areas, which is one, the retail products, and the other is in the SME and the commercial sides. The bulk of the company's book is a mix of both, and today our book is standing at 200, maybe 80 million gross or 200 million net investments, and majority of the book is in the SME and the commercial side, which is about 68% and 32% in the retail sides also. Here also, I want to highlight that the risk is not there in this area because the book has been diversified also in the commercial side. The commercial side, the company is writing very small ticket size. If you take the overall, the company's average ticket size, it is about 15,000. If you take the retail itself, it's less than 4,000 or 3,000. The SME, it will be about 10 to 15, and the commercial, the corporate, it's less than 200,000 riyals. We'll go through the financials for the company for the first 6 months. The statement for the profit and loss, it shows that the company had grown in the past 6 months. We are showing a growth in all area almost. The company's income and leases is grown by 8%. The interest expense, there is a slight growth in it, which is linked also with the borrowing, because the borrowing for the company also increased. The net finance income also, it's increased. The other income also in the company had increased. The operating expenses also definitely increased and reached by 28%. The profit before taxes also increased by 30%, and the bottom line that the net profit also increased by 30%. But here also the provision, if we go back to it, we see the provisions also, if you compare year to a half yearly 2021 with the current year 22, you will see an incremental there also in the provision by 15%. So yes, the income increased, the PAT numbers, maybe it's increased also by 30%, but we in the company also, we are taking care of the provision side, which we're trying to build up correct provisions for the coverage, to improve the coverage ratio for the bad debts in the company. The balance sheet shows also that the cash in bank increased by 39% in the June, comparison with June 21 to 22. Again, there also the net investments also increased from 168 to 181 by 7% June to June. The total asset of the company increased from 176 to 192 millions. The other ratios also, the company, mashallah, doing very good. Also last year also we successfully we obtained that bonds, and we success in it, and we achieved it. So if you see the bonds and deposits, it's improved slightly, I mean a big improvement, and it's from 11 million to 26.8 million by 143%. The retained earning had been improved also from 10 to 11.8 by 14%. This is the company's profitability slides, where we are showing you that the company, if you look, I mean, compare in EBS, June 21 to 22, there is also improvements. I mean, currently we are at 10.4. If you go to the cost to income ratio, also we are at 46%, where the market norms are close to 47%. I think we are in line also in that. The net interest income also had improved, in a lot of improvement happening if you compare it between December 20 to June 22. Today, we used to be at 4.2, we are now at 6.1%. The operating and net profit for the company, also the operating profit improved a lot year to year if you compare it. And again, the net profit, also the PAT numbers improved. You compare it last year by 30% also. The asset quality also shows that's incremental. Also, the provisioning sides of the company also being taken care. If you compare June, where we used to be June 21 at 53%, and the coverage ratio, and today the coverage ratio is 62%, while also we maintain the infected rate at a level of 17%. So here also we are trying to build up a healthy coverage ratio, where if you see December 20, the company was at 51.7%, and today we are standing at 62%. If you compare June 21 to June 22, you see there's an incremental about 19% in this the coverage ratio, where the aim is that in the next 3 to 4 years, may the company achieve a level of 100%. The revenue and the portfolio and the revenue and the company's market shares also, this slide shows that the portfolio also, it's increased, and we are today at 203 millions. And in the sectors, maybe there are 2 or 3 players who are writing business in the last 2 years, and Taageer is one of them. And in the revenue and the growth also, revenue growth also, that shows that 15% growth year over year we have June to June also. And then the revenue per employee, which is also important for us and important for every leasing company today, we see that that's been quietly improved also between June 21 and 22. The market shares, yes, Taageer since 2018, December, if you compare the market shares, today it's we are at 20%, and the second largest leasing company. In this slide, we showed you that the funding and liquidities for the companies. The first item here, the graph is showing the gearings. The gearings, it's remained at the same level for the past 3 years. We can say that a level of 3% or 3.1, and currently we are at 3.2. Where in the leasing sector, it's a very normal thing. The gearing, the option is there, or we have the limit to the cap by central bank, which is 5 times. Majority, as we gave in the first slides also, most of the sectors, still there's a big room of 700 millions in borrowings, where the sector never reached 100% in the past, maybe more than 20 years or 15 years. And this is a very, I can say it in leasing business, it's a very norms that we may reach 4%, 4 times, let's say in the gearings, and for above 4 times, because in neighboring countries, if you go to the leasing side also, you will see they are allowed in 10 times also. But still in Oman, we are not touching the 5 times which we've been allowed. I'm sure the regulatory, if tomorrow we do a business and we touch this cap of 5 times, they can revisit this area, because I was working also with an organization where multinational company, they also in some neighboring countries, they are allowed in 10 times, and 10 between 10 to 15 times also. In the non-banking borrowing also, this has been quietly improved between December and, June 21 to June 22 also. And the cost of fund also, if you see, it is less by 0.2% than last year. And the capital adequacy ratio is fine. It's at the same level at 23.4%. The key focus area for us going forward in the company, it is, yes, we are in Taageer today, we are working on digitalizations. We are working also in some area like process of automations and funding, diversification, strong relationship with banks. These are the focus in the futures for us. Thank you. I think this was a very fast and presentations. And here, before we start the question and answer, I have also my colleagues with me, Kashif, the DCO, and Mr. Shastri, the CFO. They will help and support us also if there is any question and answers require their assistance. So we are ready also to hear from you as investors. Please.
Hello.
Yes, salam. Yes, please.
Hi, Assalamu alaikum. Good morning. This is Bishan Bhalla from Vision Asset Management.
Yeah, welcome, Bishan. Please.
Thank you for the presentation. I just had a couple of queries. You mentioned about your NPA levels and you mentioned about the provision coverage. Just wanted to understand from you, the moratorium extended by the Central Bank of Oman for the corporates ends in Q3, 30th September. How do you see sort of the NPAs going forward, or has the bank already sort of renegotiated or restructured most of these loans?
See, the moratorium which has been given also, on the deferment, when it started in 2020 at the beginning, in the first 6 months, and then it's been extended also 2 times. And then there was a special also circular came last time also, and it's been extended up to September 30, 2022. If we go back to it at the beginning of the deferment, the things were different. There was a lot of clients and customers which apply for deferment, but and it's keep decreasing when the clients also understanding is there will be charges on it and this. So today maybe we don't see a big numbers in it, and we are considering it. So please, we'll go back again to your questions. At the beginning, when it started the deferment was being many clients or many customers apply for it, and after that, slowly or gradually, you can see on the second or third deferments, the numbers has been reduced heavily. I believe in Taageer, we don't have big numbers today who apply or who come for the latest extension of the deferments, because that portfolio of deferment now today contain less than 10% of the company's portfolio. At the beginning, there was many clients who apply when they understand there's a cost, there is this on it. So the client also, we can say behavior with the deferment, it's changed. Yes, still we have in our book, I can say today about 10% on the commercial side, which is on the deferment again, which being extended the deferment for them up to September. Please. And next.
Okay, thank you. One of the slides, I think you mentioned the cost of funding. If I'm not mistaken, the cost of funding came down in Q2 compared to Q1. Is that correct?
Yes, that is correct.
Yes, if you could just shed some light on that, please.
Yeah, see, in the current, the system is like that, in our leasing business. After we close the last year results of March, and then again the banks opened the rooms for us for borrowings. So we got new facilities which added to the book, and the cost was less than than last year's, because you remember last year we went for bonds also and deposit. The rate maybe could be higher a little bit overall, mean in the portfolio, our loan portfolio. But yes, slightly it came down in the second quarter of 2022.
And that would be the
Please.
rate for the rest of the year because you renegotiated those deposits.
Yes, because see, some of depends on the mix of the deposit. If you see that really last year June we have like 11 millions in our books in deposits, and this today we have 26 million. That is one item we can say. If you go to the borrowing itself, also it's been increased. We got more facilities. The banks themselves, the banks also start lending to the sector again. I can say this year's. The look is different because if you go back 2020 or 21, you see the sector lost a lot, big portions of their borrowing from the banks. When no one was doing business, and the borrowing for the sector went down by more than 100 million or 128 million, if I remember the number very well. The sector went down, and in Taageer we lost also, we can say facility less, more than 20 million of our facility also gone during 2020.
Noted. My last question is, given, as you mentioned, the exposure to sort of the restructured or the deferred portion is lower now. There's a better economic outlook. We've seen upgrade there. Hopefully should be better cash flows going forward. What would be an aspirational return on equity target for the company, let's say in FY23 or FY24, when things normalize, in your opinion?
See, with us, honestly, right now we are above 7%. Maybe the closing will be more than 7, or we will touch 8% by this year end, the return on equity. But it is there within the next 3 to 5 years. We will touch 12%, inshallah. We will touch 12%. If you see the company, the way we are operating, the earning income, how the incremental in it, we are securing a business also for the company in all angles. And at the same time, also, we are writing business continually also. We didn't stop in Taageer. We didn't stop in the last 2 years completely 100%. We keep writing business, and that's giving a room for us also for the growth. And again, if you go to the PAT number, which we share it with you right now, if you see, yes, we are creating more provisions. If you see, and the provision was being created in 6 months, it's close to 1.9 million, while the PAT number shows 1.3 million. If you compare it to the financial sectors, we could be maybe one of those companies where we provided more than what we are declaring in the PAT. And at the same time, again, link it back with the infected rate, because the infected rate also, it's been stopped there at 17%. The company's infected rate, so that's mean the bad portfolio is stagnant, and you are writing a new business also at the same time, and you are creating also, you are improving the coverage ratio. So from 53%, if it was 53, today it's at 62. The aim is that, inshallah, within the next 2 to 3 years, where the improvement will come, and I'm sure the ROE will go to 12%, maybe within 3 years' time, we'll touch that, because by this year end, our aim is that we will touch 8%. And next year, inshallah, 23, 24, by 24, we'll be at a level more than 11%.
Excellent. That's great to hear. And what would be the target areas for growth on the loan book side to achieve this?
Again, see each of this in the sector. If you look to hold the finance companies, each of us is different, working in a different with a different or unique work area. In Taageer, we are maybe good in a small ticket size business because the company is not too big, and some others, for their own reasons, maybe they are not doing. But in Taageer, we did not stop, and we are writing more business in the small commercial side, I can say. Today, if our book contains 68% of SME or commercial, we can say it commercial. But that commercial, you see, ticket size is at 15,000, 20,000, so 50,000 riyal. So we are supporting the economy. And we feel there is still, as a finance sectors or financial sector completely, even with the banks, we can, I think, contribute more, because we need to see companies like us in finance companies supporting the country in creation jobs. So that's why we are focusing mainly with SME. Maybe could be also this is a part of our the goal, which is set up by one of the major shareholders, which is OIA. They want also job creation companies. They don't want only, they are not looking on one angle, just only the profitability of these companies, but they are also looking at the other side, which is we have to contribute to be part of these small entities where they are tomorrow creating jobs. So our focus is mainly is in the commercial and the small commercial. It's not a big ticket size. When I say that, we don't write transactions big in let's say millions of this. Most of the business is within 100,000, 200,000 for the small entities. And for the new Omani companies, which they are starting, also Taageer, we are taking good place in it. So this is a big room also there. So I think Taageer, inshallah, will success in it. And that's also proof to you also. I mean, you can see the growth, which is there also in the company's book. The growth is there also in the company's and in future interest. Yes, spread also. I think we maintain a good spread among the industry or the sectors, we can say. So inshallah, with success, inshallah, in this area.
Okay. And lastly, any thoughts on consolidation?
Consolidation, it's yes, earlier it was there and that been dropped, and there is nothing now going on till my understanding, and there's nothing in pipeline. That one transaction was there, and I'm sure you're all aware of it, but that been dropped also in year 2020, and it's over.
Noted. Thank you so much, gentlemen, and wish you all the best. Take care.
Thank you. Thank you. Anyone?
Good afternoon, gentlemen. Thank you very much for hosting this call. I have a few questions. The first question is regarding the net finance growth, which is targeted for this year, that is 2022, or if you have a more wider time frame, for example, from 2022 to 2025, if you can give us guidance on what kind of loan book, what kind of net finance asset growth that you're looking at. And my second question is on the target ROE for the future years. As you've mentioned, you'll be targeting to reach 12%. I would just like to understand how that will materialize. Is it going to come from aggressive financing asset growth, or is it going to come from margin expansion? If you can shed some light on that.
So if you see the book growth, it's the book growth is coming from new businesses which we are writing, and as I mentioned earlier also, our book growth is coming from small tickets. I mean, that is again, we'll go back to the same answers, because the whole growth is coming from the area which we are writing a business. The main area which we are writing business in Taageer Finance, it is not the corporate, but how the banks mean with the corporates. I mean, our commercial, we can call it commercial business, which we are writing it. So today the ticket size is just up to 200,000 or 300,000 riyal. And the average ticket size in that whole sector, it is less than 50 or 50, exactly the number is 59,000 riyal. So that is on the commercial business, which we are aiming to grow in it. So we are diversifying the company's risk at the same time. And retail, yes, we have a portfolio of 32%, maybe close to 32% in the retail, where the average ticket size also it's less than 5,000 riyal. And the growth, again, which we are aiming also, it will be in the both sectors, and we are diversifying. Yes, how we are executing this business, we have a good network, good branches, which are also located in a very good locations. Like we have today, the company it is there in 2 branches in Al Batna region. We are there in Salalah region. We are there in Sharqiyya. We came recently with a branch in Sib also. So the company, and in the Khaliyya region also, the company it is there. So the company is being presented. That's why we are writing. And this whole the growth or the execution of the businesses is coming normally from the branches, where the ticket size are very small and the executions is taking place and diversifying the risk on a very small ticket size. The ROE, again, that is linked with the company's growth and the profitability, because we are also, I think the spread, if you compare and the spread, the margin, the company, which is, we are earning it today, and maybe the slight, I can say slight reductions in the borrowings and the loan interest, which supporting us also. And the company today, again, in leasing business also, we have to see one thing in Taageer books today, we have a portfolio of 280 million. The net portfolio is about 203 million maybe. And that's an income for the company is a huge amount. And the company building a future interest where we see that materialization of these things are coming also. And as I said earlier also, this is all linked again with what we are, how our portfolio is behaving. If you go back to the company's portfolio behaviors, you will see the company in the past 3 years, almost we are stagnant. If our net, the bad debts or whatever we call it, the infected portfolio for the company, today it's at 17% or 17.3%, even though the pandemic came, all these issues came in, the incremental which happened to that, to the infected portfolio, it is less than 1% or 1%. So we are monitoring also the sides of the business. Yes, we could not bring it further down, which was our aim to bring it down, but that again, that was linked with the past 2 years. That's, I think, everyone was fighting for it, but we are lucky and we are thankful to the team and the members who put a lot of efforts, and to the regulatory also, which they give us that streamline the things through the deferment and the others. But today, yes, we see, and at the same time, we didn't take everything again to the, let's say, to the profit side. We are creating more provisioning. If you go also back to it, you'll see the provisioning rates also mean that the coverage ratio is, which is improved also from 53 to 62%. Currently, we are at 62%. I think by doing all this, the company will touch, inshallah. There is an area which is also to bring it. Our total borrowing today, we give this assurance to our shareholders and to the investors also. In Taageer, the leasing sector, it's actually a less, I can say it's a less risk among the financial sectors, because leasing business, everyone in this sector, they are diversifying and they have many number of clients with a very average ticket size, which is very small. And in the past history of the Sultanate, since the inception of the first leasing company, till date, no leasing company since 80s till date went into bankruptcy or something like that, because the drop normally that doesn't happen immediately, and they can cover. If you take, for example, the books of Taageer, you will see, yes, the total receivable is 280 million, but if you take again the borrowing for the company, it's 140 million, and the shareholder equity is what, 45 million? Your unearned income only, or the future income, which we're talking about, is 82 million. So if this company don't write any business, let's say in 2 years' time or 3 years' time, believe me, it will never ever go in bankrupt also, because that company will sustain to pay the debts, and it will sustain also to pay at the end the shareholder equity also. So the model of leasing, I believe, and it's good models. Yes, in Oman, maybe the business overall in the country, which been little bit down since 2015, 16, maybe that impact is on us, because majority, again, there, if we link it, we will link it to the whole business in the country, and major business in the country is a construction, and the construction business, it is stagnant for last 5 years, 6 years. So there is no contribution we can say from that. And if you go to unemployment, if you go to anything, it's like on the construction business mainly, because that again, in employment, if you look from different angle to it in Oman, it was maybe close to 40%, it was linked with the construction business. Thank you. Shall I add anything more?
Thank you very much. That answered my questions. There's one more question that I have. It's about any view that you have for any potential acquisition within the sector, or perhaps outside Oman. Do you have any plans for such an expansion?
We don't have in Taageer, I'll be honest. There is one successful acquisition, or we can say merger, which happened in the country. I was a part of it also in 2017, 18. And today, Yes, we tried 3 years back, and we did not success in Taageer. And we don't have anything in pipeline right now for any acquisitions and mergers. Maybe they are healthy, and to see good companies and big companies or bigger organizations. But in Taageer, there is nothing right now in pipeline, so there is nothing to declare. That's the way we are working on it. Please, next.
Thank you very much.
Shukran.
Sorry.
Any more questions? Anything?
So no more questions.
No more questions. So can we close the session?
I think we can. So we'll.
If there is nothing more, we can say thank
Sir,
you.
one question.
One question there, please.
From Vishal.
From Vishal.
Hello?
Yes, Vishal, please.
Yeah, sorry, just one last question. You know, it's interesting you mentioned initially
You,
that
you,
know,
you
the
can
target.
ask two more questions. Please,
Thank
please.
you so much. Very,
Yeah.
very kind of you.
Yeah.
You know, you mentioned when I was querying that one of your target segments is the SME sector, and given that OIA is a large stakeholder, it's in a way sort of supporting the SME sector and your sort of contribution to the economy, etc., which is great to hear. But from a Taageer investor point of view, you know, one of the rationales for sort of, or one of the key drivers for your ROE target or overall profitability target is increase in your spreads. Now, would that not conflict with sort of the aim over here, where you're sort of trying to help the SME sector? Now, I understand you function as an independent entity, but does not then it become a slight conflict where you're sort of trying to maximize your lending at the same time making sure it doesn't burden a startup or an SME or a sort of new entity? I'm just trying to had that question for you.
No, see, Vishal, we are not accelerating more, or we are pushing for more business. If you go back to the work environment in Oman, honestly, and if you work in it, you see what's happening in the past 24 months, let's say, because there was a complete shutdown or complete loan disbursement among all the financial sectors at the beginning of the pandemic. And after that, you are studying, I'm sure you are analyzing, you take it from the bank to the finance companies. What is the new portions of disbursement which was happening to the economy? So there is a big room. It's not that we are accelerating. No, they are good clients, they are good companies, they are good small entities. They need just financial support. You are taking collateral, they are ready to give you all the securities which you need, but they need a funding source for them. So I don't think we are just pushing the business to catch up. No. Still, there's a big room. And if you analyze the leasing sectors, you will see they are companies which are not executing transaction at all. So who will write a business? This market, when we used to be 6 companies, we used to execute between what? Our execution number used to touch close to 40 million riyal per month. Because to maintain a portfolio of 1 billion, you need to execute that business, because there's a cancellation, there's a deletion, there's additions which are coming. A single company used to execute 12 million riyal business per month. If you ask me, 2018 in Taageer, we used to write 15 million riyal business in a month. Today, and if you take us in whole year, what is the new disbursement which has happened? I'm sure you have this analysis. You take them company-wise, you will see there's nothing. No one written. Most of the company did not execute even 25 million or 40 million real business. Some of the company did not execute 15 million in 2020. In 21, similar. So we need a continuity also in the leasing business. And yes, the shareholders also here, they have an aims also, as I said earlier, but it's not in a conflict. Yeah, they need a good return on equity, which we are maintaining also. If you see our strategic plan, it shows that inshallah, we will be closing and crossing the 12% in 24. Our return on equity. If you see the graph of it, you see the graph is going up. If you see how we are building also a healthy book, you go back to the provisions numbers and compare it with the sectors and compare how it's actually been maintained. Yeah, and they don't have issues, the shareholder in the company, when they see in our book the PAT number is 1.3, which we declare now, and our provision number is 1.9. At the same time, our effective rate is 17% as it was, and our income also increased by, the growth is 8% or 9%. So this whole incremental are taking place. Yes, we are writing business because we are two company, to be honest, or three company maybe partially. They are writing businesses in the country, and among the banks also. Few banks they started, yes, in these years, but all the focus again, as I mentioned earlier, there is one big sector where nobody is ready to take, I can say, a risk in it, which is the construction sector. And used to be one day the main sector, and it will remain as the main sector, because where is the industries? If we keep talking about the industry are not there. There are few industry, and that's the main today, the main default everywhere. It's a leasing company or it's a bank or whoever is there. If there is a high default ratio, that was also in the construction, because the majority of the business, it's a constructions. This is similar as it was in 80s when we say the only cars in Oman are Nissan and Toyota, because no one else was selling. So whole the business in the country is constructions.
Just to add one
Please.
point to what CEO has said, what you in your question, in one breath, you use the word startups and SME. So let me clarify this. SME are totally different breed from startups. SMEs in any of the country are range from 90% to 98% of the total enterprises. No matter it's a small market or a big market, that's the number. So the issue is that for any country to have this growth, it is very essential that there should be sustainable funding available to SMEs. And in Oman, this is the role which is being played by the FLC sector. And hereby we are complementing the bank. We are not competing the bank, because this is a sector which is not directly being kind of financed by any other sector than the FLCs. So startups, this is not startup. All these are established businesses. Some are 5 years, some are 10 years, some are 15 years. We have SMEs who are more than 20 years old, and they are still our clients. And they have established track record with the finance companies.
Thank you. Abhishek, clear?
Noted. Thanks for that clarification. One of the other sort of queries was, you've clearly mentioned that the contracting sector has been stagnant for the last couple of years, and it is one of the most active sectors for the financial sector to lend to. I understand that. Now, given that oil prices have been high, there's been growth on the economic front. We should, inshallah, post a fiscal surplus this year. We've seen the rating upgrade. We've seen the excess money being diverted towards debt repayment and towards infrastructure projects. Now, the one missing cog is the outstanding receivable for the contracting sector for whatever reasons. Now, let's say in the next 6 to 12 months, once the receivables for the contracting sector come down, does that spur additional growth in that sector and thereby give the leasing sector and the banking sector more opportunities going forward? Is that something you're closely monitoring and sort of looking at?
See, if you mean a growth in a business opportunity, I don't think, because if there's a liability, they will be paying the liability and closing, unless their projects are coming by the governments. I think that will be, because see, the main source for most of the developments it's the government. Maybe the private sector will start slowly to play some roles, But the majority, we know that, we understand all the things in the past which are coming from the government. And we do understand also now, we have a couple of meetings, the debts which is which is remaining with the government for repayment, it's not that much, which used to be in 3 years back or 4 years back also, because majority of the payment, it's been done also. So yes, if a construction, they normally play a big role, especially in the employment side also, creation of jobs and this. But unless they are government projects, we don't think that will come. So the best again, as Mr. Taageer was mentioning, the SMEs. For us, at least in the finance companies, yes. For the banks, definitely, it's a different terms and a different business game, I call it.
Noted. Thank you so much. Take care.
Thank you. Shukran. Shukran.
No questions.
No more questions? No more participants? Thank you very much. Thank you to all. Thank you again to MSX. Thank you to everyone. And thank you to all people who participated, and thanks to colleagues who are here. Shukran. Salam.